she is. Again, double-edged sword. She's also a billionaire at a very young age.
I was just going to say, when you have $1 billion, that we age you because we assume you've been working forever.
But again, it's, on one hand, it makes her very real. On the other hand, from a business perspective, not good if you're selling cosmetics.
No.
Not good for business. But I think she's going to be fine.
I think she's going to be, the Kardashians are always fine.
Yes, they are always.
Kris Jenner finds a way to just keep it going.
Yeah, but, you don't want to see someone break down over something that is completely untrue.
Right. That makes sense. Gorgeous.
Yeah. But again, hard to feel sorry for her.
$1 billion. You know what?
She has her own plane. That's what gets me, is I always want my own plane, or at least access to a private plane.
I was just going to say, if someone would like to give me $1 billion, you can say the most horrendous things about me.
I do not care. Say what you want, because I'll be crying quietly on my yacht.
You want a plane. That's the thing you want.
A yacht. Okay. By the way, I don't even need to own these things. I just want them whenever I want them.
Okay. I'm going to think of who I know with a private plane.
I'd give a kidney.
That's your main thing. I mean, I guess now that you're saying it like that, I think that's probably the thing I want too.
But by the way, because if you can have your own plane or afford to continuously charter your own plane, you can probably afford then to charter a yacht whenever you want. I feel like they go hand in hand.
The yacht, I can take or leave.
But you can just charter it for a couple weeks or a month in the Med or a month in the Caribbean and be like, my mother always said, when they say it's better, with my mom always say, I'd rather be, oh God, but her whole thing was, I'd rather be unhappy on my yacht.
Yeah.
Oh, money can't buy you happiness. And she always said, yes, but I'd rather be unhappy on my yacht.
That's 100% true. I'd rather be unhappy on my private plane.
Yeah.
If you're not going to be happy anyway, what's the difference?
If you're unhappy anyway, you can at least be unhappy in a nice house. Speaking of unhappy.
Yes.
Your girl Bethenny Frankel and Chanel. A bit of a dust-up, as one would say.
Bethenny has a lot going on these days, right?
Yes, she does. And she just posted some picture in a bikini, and her body is ridiculous.
Bethenny keeps it in shape, doesn't she? She's in the Hamptons this summer. She's doing a lot of posting. Yeah, she had a little moment with Chanel. I still think it's like Bethenny is just trying to see what sticks. I don't really understand. This is a phase of Bethenny I don't understand.
Yeah, because the Andy Cohen thing, she was the ringleader on that. It didn't stick.
No. Then she's had other things that didn't stick. The Chanel thing, it took off for a minute. It really became, and then she kept going. She went to the Chanel store in the Hamptons, and she really doubled down, and it was quite amusing. I find Bethenny very amusing.
I find her very smart as well.
Yeah, very smart. But now, where do we go with this? Like, I just feel that was
I'm sorry, I will never buy Chanel again. I will only now buy
Louis Vuitton.
Louis Vuitton. I mean, there's kind of no end game to it. And if you remember, this is not the first time things have happened to people like that. I remember when Hermes in Paris wouldn't let Oprah in.
I don't remember that.
Oh, you don't?
No.
It was a huge deal. And
interesting.
Let's just say Hermes was extremely embarrassed.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, not letting in Bethenny, not letting in Oprah. I mean, I don't know. One seems worse than... I mean, in Chanel's defense, now, of course, my brand is Louis Vuitton, so I'm going to only ride hard for Louis. But, like, I'm not mad at Chanel. But, I mean, there are, like, in New York City, like, you do, at times, need an appointment, really, because of a lot of looting and stuff.
Yeah.
And, like, there is someone at the door, and if you don't have an appointment, and this was in Chicago, so it's not like, it is a policy some places, and she was dressed in, like, sweats.
But the joke is usually the people who spend the most money are the ones who roll in.
Yes.
So... Taylor and Travis all over. He was just on stage. They went Instagram official. So I'm in Philadelphia at QVC doing my Q50. And so I'm having dinner with my cousins and Sabrina, because Sabrina went with me, and my cousins live just outside of where QVC is. And my cousin Andrew says, I got this funny story to tell you. And I'm like, okay, what? So when he and his wife first moved to the area where they live, which is a very small town, they were really young. He was just out of med school, the whole thing. They didn't know anybody. And one of the doctors in the practice that he was joining said, you know what, my kid's in a musical in high school. Come with me. And they're like, oh, we're not going to go to somebody's high school musical. He's like, you're going to meet other people. So they went, okay, fine, we'll go. And it was The Sound of Music. And he says, oh, well, I was really impressed. It was, for a high school musical, I was really, really impressed. He goes, but that one girl playing Liesel, man, that girl is fucking talented. Guess who it was?
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift.
Now, did your cousin know? Like, does he know?
No, he was like, she was like in 9th grade.
But even now, like, does he know? Or did you have to have your moment and scream and say, that was Taylor Swift?
I said, are you kidding me? He's like, no. Like, I remember looking at that play going, wow, really impressive. But that one girl, wow. And then it turns out that her brother, later on, was in little kid wrestling with their son, Eric. And they would always see the mom picking them up. But how about that? He's like, I saw Taylor Swift in The Sound of Music.
Okay, first of all, he could have been best friends with Taylor's parents.
Exactly. But I love the fact that he was like, wow, that one girl.
Even then.
Super talented.
Even then.
Even then. So I kind of love that I have this sort of very tangential.
Is this your connection to Taylor Swift?
This is my official connection to Taylor Swift, which is really just a big giant back door kind of way to get to Jason Kelce.
You should have gone to the concert when she was here at SoFi.
And said, my cousin saw you in The Sound of Music, and he even then saw your talent.
I'm sure she would appreciate it.
Is that not like the best story?
Listen, you have that. You had the mother at QVC. You're like slowly making your way in, Mellisa.
A little bit like black mold.
You're making your way in. I mean, on a very similar note, that's amazing. I have been hanging out with Luann from the Housewives this summer, and which I knew, she said, like, coming to her show, Lourdes, Madonna's daughter, does go to see the Countess when she performs her cabaret in New York. Somehow it came up, and I'm like, you know what? I'm never this person, but I mean, Madonna's not going to be there. The next time that you do this and you know Lourdes is coming, I need to be there then. Same thing. Yeah. Well, I don't know what my plan is, but there's going to be a plan. So I fully support this.
But is that not like the greatest?
That is crazy.
And I said to him, like, how could you have never told us this story before? Yeah. Because he was like, I don't know, because we were driving by the area where the high school is.
And her parents are still there, right?
No, I think they've all moved. But
I don't know.
How about that?
Listen,
my cousin had an eye for talent.
Too bad there wasn't phones back then.
Yeah.
He could have
and just randomly they got sucked into going to his practice.
Okay, well, that's a good.
So if anyone asked you to go to their kid's high school show,
say yes.
Say yes, because you never know. You could see Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift, Northwest. Who knows?
David, always so much fun.
This was a busy one this week.
It was.